Hey, this is John Petrucci, and I'd like to talk about a very interesting way of moving across the guitar neck. And the reason why it's interesting is because the sound of what you're playing doesn't quite equate to the motion that your hands are making. And what we're going to talk about is playing in an ascending and descending way from a low string in a high position down to a high string in a low position. And back up. With this lick, we are in A minor, and I'm actually starting on E, which is really of no consequence because this is kind of ripped by. And what we're doing is we're taking the concept of the groups of 6 notes, and we're still working off of that. But what we're doing, instead of taking them in a motion on the same set of strings, or in a motion through a scale, or in a motion diagonally this way, we're moving them diagonally this way. And this is how you do that. So you take the first group. In this case, it's going to be all natural notes. So there's no more F sharp. It's going to be an F natural. So, well, before I even play the pattern, let me show you where the shapes come from, and then we'll do the pattern. So that's the first one. Now, the way you get to the next set is that you stay in the position that you started in, and then you move down to the next available note in the key, and you play the shape in that position. Remember, conform your fingers to the notes in the scale. So, all right, and then in this position, you move down to the next available note would be a B. Next available note. All right, so here are the shapes. And then I just applied a sequence to it. And in this case, we are in 5/4, and it's going to sound like this. You're going to pick 16th notes, so you're still hearing 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and you're also constantly picking down, up, down, up. So alternate picking strictly throughout. So the first part of the pattern goes, and then we're going to move to the next position and play 2 notes from that position. And then we start the pattern on the next set. So one thing to note is after we play the first pattern, the next 2 notes that complete the group of 5 set up the next position. All right, so when you play, you don't want to play those 2 notes in the same position you're in. You should actually switch to the next position and then play the appropriate notes with the right fingers. Shift. 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 And then we're resolving it on A. All right, so now I'm going to show you a similar concept, but this time we're going to start on the higher strings, and we're going to play a succession of descending notes, even though it looks like we're ascending on the guitar. So we start on the high E string, and we end on the low E string. And this is also in the key of A minor. Okay, so all of these notes are in the key of A minor, so they're all natural notes. And here are the different 6-note shapes, so you can see the way they outline. So the first one Now we're going to take that shape, and we're going to move up to the next position. All right, so every time we're shifting up, we're changing the shape to conform to the scale, and even though we're traveling up towards the pickups of the guitar, the notes are actually descending. And then I just applied a pattern to it. So the pattern is a 16th note pattern. And the thing that's a little bit tricky if you tap your foot to this is that since the notes are in groups of 3 and I'm playing a 16th note pattern, it's going to sound a little bit syncopated. So the best thing to do is to try to tap and accent maybe every 4 to 8 notes, and then you'll really hear the syncopation. All right, so the reason I bring that up is because you might have the tendency, since the notes are grouped in 6s or 3s, to feel it as like a triplet, and it's hard to kind of get out of that headspace. You almost want to hear this. But it's important that it's not written that way. And this is a really cool exercise to do anyway to help you with your musical feel and knowledge. So remember, group it in 16th notes. And it's interesting to note where the downbeats are. They're not going to be where you would think they would be, like at the top of the grouping. It's not going to be, etc. It's going to be in weird places.